This video is going to be about gradients and y-intercepts of straight lines. So I've drawn some straight line graphs on here just to remind you what they're about. So for example, this line here is a line y equals 2x minus 3. And what I want you to remember is the 2, the number that is the coefficient, that's the word the coefficient of x, that's the number that goes in front of the x. That gives us the gradient, which is the slope of the graph. And that means for every 1 square I go right, I go 2 up. And then minus 3 gives me the y-intercept, which is where my graph intercepts, crosses, the y-axis, which is here at minus 3. So I wouldn't need to draw this graph to know what the gradient and the y-intercept would be. I could just look at the equation. I know from the coefficient of x that the gradient is 2 and the y-intercept is minus 3. Take this example. Here I know that the y-intercept is 2. I know that the gradient is 1 because the coefficient of 1, the number that's in front of the coefficient of x, i.e. the number that's in front of x, is 1, because you'll remember that if there is no number in front of a letter, it means we only have one of them. And you can see from my graph that for every 1 square I go right, I go 1 up. So if you look at these questions here, and these are my examples for you, how would I find the gradient and y-intercept of these equations? So here, the coefficient of x is 5. So that means my gradient is 5. And my y-intercept, where this graph would cross the y-axis, is minus 1. In this second example, this is a little bit more challenging because I don't have it in the form y equals something. So I need to change that. If you think about what I've done to y, it's being doubled, so 2 times y, then adding x, and I get 4. So I need to rearrange that, undo that, to get y by itself. So I'm going to take x off both sides of the equation there. So then I get 2y equals 4 minus x. And then to undo 2y and get y by itself, I need to divide by 2. So divide both sides by 2. So I get y equals 4 minus x all divided by 2, which I could write as 4 divided by 2, which is 2, minus x divided by 2, which is half of x. So in this case, so this is a much more challenging question here, my gradient, remember, look for the coefficient of x, the number in front of the x. In that case, that's minus half. So my gradient is minus a half, and my y-intercept is 2. So, some questions for you to have a look at. Questions 1, 2, and 3 are very much like the graph I showed you and question 1 in my examples. Questions 4 and 5 are a much higher grade and are more challenging, but I'd really like to have a go at them.